Welcome to Just Crafting Around. Today, what we're going to be working on is some St. Patrick's Day decorations. We are going to be doing some painting, in fact, quite a bit of painting. If you remember with the last few episodes, we have a branch, a tree branch, and we decorate it for every kind of a holiday, what's not a holiday, but a special occasion, like Christmas, Valentine's Day. That way you can take your Valentine's Day things off. You can then take it and put on your St. Patrick's Day things. You can take those things off then, and you can put on decorations for Easter. That way you always have your house decorated with the different events and such that come up. So let's get started. Today what we're going to do is we found a paper mache clover. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to paint it and we're going to distress it a little bit. We're not going to do too much to this. Also what we have here is I found some keys, not keys, I guess coins, what I should say. Found some different coins. Some are gold, some are green. Of course, St. Patrick's Day is generally green, a lot of clovers, leprechauns. I did find another really nice clover that I liked. I like the way it swirled, and I like the color of the wood. And to be honest with you, we're not going to even color this green or anything. The reason is because I like how it looks and I like the swirl of it. Most of this stuff I purchased at Joann's Fabrics. Got this for $1. This here I paid a couple dollars for. Again, got this stuff at Joann's Fabrics. A lot of times what you can do is you can go online. If you don't go to the store, they do have percentages off on the different products and different items. We are going to try something new today. What we're going to do is I found some transfer paper that is for wood, and we're going to give this a try. I have looked for transfer paper for a long time, and I finally found this product, and I read up on it online, and they said that it's not supposed to smudge when you paint. It's not supposed to smudge onto any wood or anything like that. So we're going to give this a try today. I haven't tried it yet, so it's going to be a first with you. So let's get started on a few things here. What I did find was some wood that was cut, and it still has the bark on the side of it, which I thought was so cool as well. What we're going to do is we're going to stencil the number 17 on here, because March 17th is always on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. That's the day my daughters like to celebrate their birthday, which happens to be on March 18th. And I happen to find out that on the 17th of March, on St. Patrick's Day, they always like to drink the green punch. And come to find out, it's not always just punch. So let's begin with coffee in our hands, and let's begin some crafting. I like, and I know I've said this 100 times before, but I do like the chalk paint. Chalk paint just makes it so much easier if you're going to be doing any distressing. To me, the chalk paint is the best. If you're not going to be doing any distressing, there are so many different kinds of paints, acrylic paints like this out there. So many different kinds of brands, so many different kinds of colors. I pretty much have stuck with the Americana, and I guess I've stuck with that because I know that almost every craft store plus Walmart, in those places, a lot of them carry the Americana. So if I run out of a color, I know I can always go in and get the same color. I do know that there are quite a few different ones out there. There's Martha Stewart that has the acrylic paint, and I have heard that hers is very good acrylic paint as well. But like I said, I haven't tried that. Sometimes it's easier to give stuff like that a try, see if you like it better than other ones. Some of them I have found too that when I did try them, I've always come back to the Americana. The Americana is that in between. It's not a runny paint and it's not a thick paint. It's kind of that in between paint. There has been some that I have tried that it's very thick, and I do not like that. I did purchase this chalk paint it's folk art, and it is from Joann's Fabric. Again, if you download their app, they do have, they will send you emails if you give them your email address. What they will also do is they will send coupons to you. They'll send them to you in the mail if you wish. You can also get it on the app. So when you go to the store, you just bring up your app and you will get a percentage off. A lot of times with theirs, like Hobby Lobby's in them, you get a percentage off a single item that is not on sale. You can also get a percentage off the shipping if you're ordering offline. There's all different kinds of things that you can get. They will also send you emails if you're browsing through and you're looking at different stuff. It's joanns.com. If you're browsing through and you're looking at different things like that, it will leave a cookie, and it will later on let you know when some of that stuff has become on sale or the product has changed. Also, when you go onto them sites, you can find different classes that they're holding online. And all you have to do is log in, and you can watch the different classes that they have, that they hold. And they do hold all different kinds of them. If there's anything that you're interested in, you're sure to find it there. Hobby Lobby again is another one. Michael's is another one. They have different kinds. They have anywhere from crocheting classes. They also have different kinds of craft. They have painting classes. They show you the different kinds of fabrics and the different kinds of glues and stuff that you can use with them. They are very, very informational. And I have watched some of the craft shows and have really enjoyed them. Another thing I like about chalk paint is it doesn't take very long and it dries. Where acrylic paint takes a little bit longer, and that again all depends on the surface that you're painting as well. Now, of course, the paper mache, it's going to soak right in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the front and I'm going to paint the back, and the reason I'm doing that is because I am using it on a branch, which my husband thought was insane to be putting up in my house, or in our house, was a branch. He thought that was just the dumbest thing he's ever heard. But they do get used to it. It's because they have no choice. So, we are almost done painting this part of it. Distressing it is just lightly taking sandpaper. If you don't have sandpaper, to get into some of the little different nicks and crannies here, I do use emery boards. I use emery boards a lot because there are quite a few places that you can't get in with a brush, even with a foam brush. It's hard to get into them. Now, if you're painting any kind of furniture or anything like that and you're using chalk paint, don't use a foam brush. Always use a different kind of a brush. The brushes I like to use for that are ones that you can bend really easily. You can find a brush that you've used pretty heavily from before. You can buy brushes out there that are for the different kinds of chalk paints. What I found that I really like is one of my older brushes that I use. You do not have to pay the absorbent amount of money to get a brush for chalk paint. Again, just make sure that it is not a hard bristled brush. It needs to be a soft bristle. A lot of times too, I've noticed that when I have used the chalk paint, especially on furniture and stuff like that, it's one coat. I don't have to do several coats. I do a one coat and it pretty much so takes care of it. And again, it's what you're looking to get. What is your end result from it? If you're happy with it, nobody else has to be. As long as you're happy with it. I try to go in the same direction all the time when I paint. Always try to go in the same direction when you paint. Again, this might need a couple coats. And you can can read up on the chalk paints. You can read up on all the different kinds of paints. The only thing is it's what everybody else prefers. I read quite a few different things on some different chalk paints. I tried them, I didn't really like them, so it's personal preference as to what you like and how you want to use it. So again, all personal preference. Being I'm just stressing this, I'm not going to be too worried about giving it a second coat or making it look too perfect, because like I said before, we're going to be distressing parts of it. So I don't like things to look too perfect. I like them to be a little bent here, a little imperfection here, because who's perfect? I like the imperfections. And again, your call. You can do this twice, you can do it 3 times, you can do it however you like. There's a little bit of the paper mache coming through here, and I'm okay with that. So we're going to set this to the side, we're going to let this dry. And as you can see, I am a messy painter.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
And the next thing we are going to do is we are going to take this piece of wood with the bark still around it, and we are going to put a number 17 in here. I did buy some stencils that you can actually peel off and put on here, and they are supposed to stick to anything. So we're going to do a 17 on here. Kind of line this up in the middle. Make sure it's going to look good. You can take it off and reuse the stencil. Oh, we're going to put it in the middle, press it down. Move this one over just a little tad bit. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the electric drill and drill a hole in the top of the piece of wood so that we can hang it. Okay, eyeballing it, I think it looks pretty good. And we're going to use green again, because of course the green is extremely popular for St. Patrick's Day. Okay, that looks good to me. And here we go. I'm going to use some acrylic paint. We are going to use sour apple this time. Always like to, if you have something, cover your table with it. If you don't have anything, I use some wax paper is always good, and I usually have some wax paper around here. Today I do not. What you do is you take your brush and you load it with the paint, and then go over to another side and kind of take some of that paint off, and then start stenciling. Keep just pounding with the brush. Going to go on to the next, to the 7, until you have most of it covered. The size of the brush, the size of your project is also going to tell you what size of your brush that you need. We're going to let this dry for a little bit before we peel it off, but we don't want to wait too long before you peel the stencil off. Okay, here's the stencil with it on. Now we're going to peel it off. I've never tried these stencils before, so I hope they work. And then you can go and clean them up real good. 7. So we have 17 on here. Looks pretty good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a drill. We're going to drill down and in here, and then we're going to use one of these little deals that screw into where you've made your hole so that we can take a thread and put it through there. But we're going to let this dry real good over on the side here. Again, I didn't color the wood before or anything. I didn't put any kind of paint on it because I really do like the color of the wood itself. So we're going to set that to the side. We're going to let that go. Now, to save some time, I've already done the one project, and I want to show you what I did, and I will explain how I did it. What I did was I found just some clear wood, and I found it in this kind of a shape, and I really like this shape. Then what I did was I went online and I went to Pinterest, and I wanted to find something that had a lot of sayings on there. And I wanted the sayings, of course, to be for St. Patrick's Day. So I went and I found what I wanted. I took it into paint. And what paint is paint is almost, it's a program that's free. That's usually on every computer that you have. What I did was I took it, I pasted it into paint. Then I went, and because you're laying it down, you want it to be rotated. So then what I did was I pasted it, I went to the tab that said rotate, and I flipped it horizontally. So what you can do is you can see the difference here. And the reason for that is because I'm going to cut this out, and if you look at it from behind, you can see that it's exactly how you want it. So if you look at it through the camera and you look at it behind, you can see it's actually the way that you want it. So now I'm going to take it, I cut it out, and I know that I have to paste it down. And what you use is you use what's called a gel. I used a matte gel. And what this gel does is it transfers the ink from your paper onto a piece of wood. So I made both sides the same because I wanted them to be the same. In case they would turn around or something would happen, I wanted them to be the same. And what I did was I let this set overnight for 2 nights. And it came out the best. And then what you do is you take some water and you dampen it, and you rub it very gently just to get the white part of the paper off. Once you've got the white part of the paper off and it looks the way you want it to do, once it's dry, take dry acrylic and put it over the top of it so that you don't have any of this come off, because you want the ink to absorb onto the wood and you don't want it to come off, so you want to use this. So always go over it with acrylic, clear acrylic. And what I did is I used the matte because I don't want it to be shiny. You can also get the gloss in this. So again, rub gently, but just rub gently to get the white film off. You don't want to rub too hard, because if you rub too hard, you're also going to take the ink off of it. Okay, once we get our drill and stuff ready, we're going to drill some holes so that we're able to hang this up on our branch. So that's what we did there. And again, you can get this medium gel. I have seen it at, not Hobby Lobby, but where I have seen it is at Michael's. And again, it's called Liquitex, and it's medium gel. I believe that Mod Podge also makes it, but there again, I haven't used it, so I can't really tell you anything about it, other than I haven't used it. Now, I wanted to add a little extra color and some more color to our branch. So what I did was I purchased these online, and these are just plastic, and it's like a drop, a teardrop, or it's like a water drop. What I'm going to do is something very simple and very cheap. I'm going to put some of the coins in here, because you want a variety of things. You don't want it all wood because you want it to look different. The other thing you can do is you can go into the dollar store. The dollar store has some things as well that you can use in different places. So the dollar store is another really good place to go into. I go in there quite a bit and look for the different things. What I did happen to find was I happened to find a tie that we're going to use, and we are going to take it and put it on the branch as well. So I kind of mixed up these colors. We're going to put them in here. And we're just going to take this. All you do is squeeze it so it stays together. And I did only find these online. I haven't been able to find anything like this in a craft store, so I did find these online. I thought they were pretty cool. They are just plastic. And I somewhat found them by accident online. So there you go. We have some different colors with some different coins. Now we can add a few more if we want. Shake them up a bit so that there's not all the green and not all the gold. That you just kind of shake them up, put them in there. So that's another thing that we'll be using on our branch. Some simple things like this. And like I said, I did find some of these in the dollar store. They weren't exactly like this, but they were cute as well. So for $1 for a small bag of these coins, I thought that was awful reasonable. Now what we're going to do is, I did find some shamrocks that I really liked. I also found a hat that I really liked. And we're going to take this and we're going to try using our transfer paper and see how that turns out for us. I'm going to find a piece of wood that I like. Probably going to use a longer piece because you don't want everything to be small. You don't want everything to be large. You kind of want a variety of things. Variety of how to make it look. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to kind of decide where I want to put this. And then we're going to try using this transfer paper. See how this is going to work. Like I said, bear with me. I haven't tried this before. This will be the first. I'm just going to cut out a piece. I remember having to use this in school, actually, when we had manual typewriters, where you actually had to go and press the key pretty hard. And then to make a copy of it, we actually had to put this in between two pieces of paper. Those were the days. And now, I don't think people even know what typewriters look like. But this is what we actually used, was transfer paper. And then when you made a mistake, too bad. There was nothing that you could use until correction came out, correction tape. And electric typewriters. Oh my, we fought over those of who got to use them in school because of course we only had 3, I believe, electric typewriters, so everybody ran to those. And the rest of us, well, we just had to use liquid whiteout. Liquid whiteout. And nowadays they have dry whiteout. But who uses a typewriter anymore? Not too many people that I know of. Okay, so what I've done was I have taken some of the transfer paper, I've put it behind here, I put what I want to transfer on there, and now let's give this a try and see how this works. I'm just going to trace, and then once I'm done tracing, I'm going to go back and start painting. Like I said, I did check out the different kinds of transfer papers that they have, and this one seemed to get quite a bit of stars and quite a bit of kudos. I have the clovers, but I also wanted to do something a little bit different. So I found a hat that I really liked. And we'll see how it goes. Of course, it had a shamrock on it. I hope my painting skills are better than my tracing skills here. And if it doesn't turn out, that's one project that, guess what, we won't be doing again. And we've got one more shamrock here. What we're going to do with this, with the bottom one, is we're going to attempt to use glitter. When my granddaughters come home, they always want to use glitter and I just cringe. Although in the summertime it's nice because I can take them outside and let them use the glitter. Okay, so let's unveil and see what we have. I think I used enough tape to tape this down. But what I did use is I used masking tape because I knew with the masking tape it wasn't going to stick and I was going to have a hard time taking it off. Not bad. Not the best, but not bad. Smudged a little, but not bad. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if taking a pen with an eraser takes off the smudge, which it looks like it's doing, which is good. Very, very good. Looks like it just smudged up on top. Not sure why that was, but I think it's a good thing and I think it's a keeper. We'll have to use that more. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to take some of our different greens and some of our different paints and we're going to go ahead and paint this.
Sign up for HD or DVR from Valley this month and receive 2 months free and free installation. Call us today at 437-2615. You don't want to miss out on this offer.
Actually use Sharpies on these instead of paint and then having to have such a thin paintbrush. So we've got some Sharpies, we've got them in all different kinds of colors, so give the Sharpies a whirl when you're trying to do something like this and something small and intricate that you want to do. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go and we are going to distress this just a little bit. Just going to take just plain sandpaper, sand it down a bit, sand the edges more so than anything. Once you're done sanding and stuff, you should take either just a very lightly damped paper towel, dampen it a little with some water, or just wipe it off, because as you're wiping it off or as you're taking it down, it leaves a film to it. So be sure and do that. Or we can use, what I really like to use again is the emery boards, and use those if you want to get in a little bit closer and into those parts where you can't get in very good with either a sandpaper brick, is what I like to use a lot. Just kind of get those edges, get some of the top part too. I find it's a lot easier, like I said, to use an emery board when you're doing that. We're just going to distress a little bit of the side here. Maybe not all the sides, but a little bit of the sides. Don't like to go too overboard on it. Paper mache. I like to use the paper mache stuff when we're doing different things. It's kind of weird because not only is it going to be St. Patrick's Day in the month of March, it is also going to be Easter. So we'll be doing a few Easter projects here as well in our next show. I was actually born on Easter Sunday. My birthday is in April. I guess I was my folks' Easter bunny that year. Okay, distress this pretty good. And tell around the sides that it looks a little distressed. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to go in here a little bit. Take the sides down just a little bit. This doesn't have anything to hang, so what we're going to do is we are going to take some twine and we're going to hot glue it to the back, just a little piece. And then when we hang it, we'll just use a little bit bigger piece of twine. Now the twine that you use, there's different kinds of thickness to it. This is thicker than what this twine is, and yet they're both the jute twine. You can get the different kinds of hemp cord as well, different colors, different kinds that you can use here. We've got several different kinds. And while we're waiting for the glue gun to heat up, we are going to drill some holes into some of the wood projects that we have here. I'm going to use an old phone book because they work best. Got myself a drill here. I'm going to use the different bits that we have available. What I like about this drill is you don't have to hold it in order to get the drill bit in. What you do is you just pop this out, put your bit in, and let it go. And it's in. And it's in, and it's very secure. So, got this little drill. It also has the different battery packs that you can use. This is one, and we also have another little battery pack in case this one would go bad. So, we want to drill just a small hole in here. So I find my center and pull it out. Okay. I drilled a smaller one in here. We're going to need a really small cord. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the next size. So it was easy enough to pull this out. And I'm going to use this one. This one's a little bit bigger. Give us a little bit bigger opening to put our, now press the in, and it comes up. So we got a little hole drilled in here. We're going to use the hemp cord for this because this is really light. So we don't want to use such a heavy cord for it. Okay, now this up on top, the number 17 up on top here, like again, we're going to drill the hole right on top of here so that we can hang this with an eye hook here. So I'm going to kind of find my middle, and we are going to drill. Yep. Took a little piece of cord because like I said, this doesn't have anything for it to hang on. So we're just going to take a little piece of cord, going to go like this, and then we're going to hot glue it to the back of our shamrock. Once we get it hot glued and it dries, then we can start putting stuff on our branch. Yeah, I really do like hot glue. But man, it is hot. Hence the word hot glue. I at least burn myself with every project at least once or twice, or it's not been a successful project. Plus you have to really let it get good and hot before you do anything with it as well, because it will not work out unless the glue is good and hot. And then you only have so much time in order to situate your project before you're done. Or you have to take it apart and start all over. Put a little bit more glue in there. And let that set up, and then once it is dry, we'll be ready to start hanging our projects on our branch.
Protect your investment with smart farm monitoring from Valley Telecommunications. Get video surveillance cameras for your home, shop, or barn. Sign up now and receive 5% off of Clear to Their cameras and 1 month free of off-site storage.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, now that we completed our projects for St. Patrick's Day, we are going to put them on our branch. I went into the dollar store. You can find so many things in the dollar store that you can use. And I actually found a tie. Eric tied it for me, so I thought, well, what better for $1 that you can have and put a tie on your branch. So now we are going to start hanging the rest of our stuff. We are going to put the shamrock. And again, like I said, you can put your heights, can be whatever you think, whatever. Give yourself a little bit of room. What I do is I tie it up here, and then I stand back and take a look at it. Leave this hanging here. You can always cut it off when you're done. So we'll put this here for now. Plus I do a lot of sliding back and forth, whatever I think it looks like. I'm gonna put our other shamrock that we didn't color, that I really love the wood on this one. I'm going to hang that one here. We also have put a little bit of raffia ribbon on here. You can put any kind of detailing that you want on there, whatever you think. Probably gonna hang, see what it looks like over here. And like I said, again, doesn't have to be, it's what you like, how you like it, what you like. And we'll see if it needs to be a little longer, a little shorter. And we will stand back and take a look at it. Just don't cut that part off until we see what it looks like. Have things balanced out, try to balance things out a little bit. Might take this, hang it over here. Let's put this one right here for now. Kind of like things balanced off to an extent. Okay, and we have a couple more things here to hang on. Here's our 17. And we will get that to stay. Might just add this to the ends a little bit here, make this an end cap kind of a one. Move this over a little bit. Move this over a little bit. Just kind of don't want things to be so smushed together, but yet kind of want them to if I keep this over here, I might just hang this one here. Can you balance it out a little bit more? Yeah. And like I said, what I like about this is because this can be changed out. When St. Patrick's Day is over with, you can make it into Easter project, you can make it into Valentine's, New Year's, Christmas, President's Day, whatever you want to do, you can make, and you can always then have the branch hung up and you can utilize the branch. If there are no holidays in there, but school has maybe started, maybe you want to put some school projects up here. Maybe you want to hang some of your kids' school projects on here that they've completed, some kind of artwork. You can simply do that by taking clothespins, gluing them to the branch and then hanging them from there, and then remove the clothespins. There are so many things that's endless of what you can do. This is our project for St. Patrick's Day. Thank you for joining us for Just Crafting Around. If you are a crafter and you would like to be on the show, please give Lisa or myself a call. You can call us at 437-2615. We will buy the supplies that you need, you can come, you can be on our show and be a guest. Again, thank you for tuning in to Just Crafting Around. See you next time.